Sometimes when you prefer to be alone or when you are silent, you may have been told that you are too independent or too silent by others. Do not worry. This does not mean that you are strange or missing. In fact, finding comfort in loneliness may indicate the most valuable and powerful aspects of your life with time. Many people see those who prefer loneliness as only shy or introverted, but this is a much deeper truth. There is a special personality trait that is frequently manifested in people who love loneliness in the age of old. And when you start to understand these traits, you can see your silent nature under a different light. This article talks about the 7 distinct personality traits that are often seen in old people who love loneliness. These traits are not negative. They are emotional depth, wisdom, and power indicators. Many people cannot fully develop these traits because they are constantly busy with noise and social burdens. While reading this article, you will better understand your own silent nature and perhaps discover the strong sides that lie behind not being able to adapt to social environments. If you have always liked to be alone, you will find that you are not alone. Or if you are used to being alone with time, this article is for you. After reading the article, you will understand these traits more clearly, and you will establish a stronger bond with who you are. The first trait is deep thinkers. Most people who enjoy being alone are deep thinkers whose minds are never completely relaxed. They use loneliness not to escape from life, but to understand it. While others spend their days with noise and warnings, the elderly spend more time thinking. After speaking, they think again. They revisit their old memories. These thoughts are deeper than what they see on the surface alone. For example, Ahmed and Ismail are 74 years old. Ahmed is constantly surrounded by people, clubs, meetings, and telephone calls. However, their thoughts are usually superficial. Ismail prefers to spend his mornings with a cup of tea and a notebook. He writes down what he learns about his life, what is important to him. He doesn't talk much, but what he says is always deep because he has shaped his thoughts in silence. Being a deep thinker does not mean being far away. It means having a rich inner world. These people look for meanings that others find difficult to accept. They use their loneliness to understand the world. Their inner self-confidence is high, and as a result of this, they age more clearly with time. The second trait is emotional independence. Older people who feel comfortable being alone mostly carry a deeper meaning than just one preference. This shows their emotional independence. They don't need an external connection in order for loneliness to be peaceful for them. They find their peace within themselves. For example, Fatma and Hulya are 77 years old. Fatma constantly waits for a phone call from her family. When she is alone for a day, her mood changes. Hulya walks in the mornings, has a light breakfast, and reads a book in the afternoon. She loves her family very much, but she doesn't need constant interaction. Emotional independence is achieved by a lifetime of losses, disappointments, and growth. After difficult experiences, people learn to stand on their own feet. Being emotionally independent not being dependent on the outside world, and being alone is to find one's inner peace. Such people exhibit a patient, calm, and confident attitude. They don't have too much connection with others. However, once they establish a connection, they accept that connection from the heart. It is a peace that they find within themselves, not loneliness, insecurity, or a lack. The third trait is high sensitivity. Lonely people usually see more than what is said. While others are constantly talking and running around, silent elderly people pay attention to details. When the day passes slowly, they make sense of the color of the sky from the facial expressions of people, the windows of birds, or the early hours of the morning. Amit and Mehmet are 70 years old. Amit is often in crowded environments, but he doesn't remember small details. Mehmet spends most of his time alone. He looks at his garden or just sits on the balcony. He doesn't talk much, but he immediately realizes the change in the state of a neighbor's soul. Or he says that this year the leaves are starting to wilt early. Loneliness is not emptiness. It is everything that is watched carefully. These people observe the end of their surroundings without being overwhelmed by the warnings from the outside world. While others usually associate silence with lack of attention, in fact, it is quite the opposite. Silence indicates a high level of attention. These people do not miss small details, and most of the time, they make the right observations at the right time. The fourth trait is being selective in relationships. Older people who prefer to be alone are quite selective in the time they spend with someone. Instead of increasing what they know, they prefer to deepen their relationships. They prefer to speak deeply and meaningfully in a small number of superficial conversations. For example, Zeynep and Hussein are 80 years old. Zeynep is constantly surrounded by people and attends group meetings, but then she usually feels alone. Hussein, on the other hand, is usually alone and only spends time with the friend she has been sharing her 2 long years with. Such people avoid unnecessary relationships that will crush them because they know the value of their energy. Not being social is a desire to spend their time with valuable relationships rather than excluding people. The fifth trait is creative direction. Only creative thoughts and inspiration usually go hand in hand. Older people who prefer to be alone are people who write poems in the mornings, draw on notebooks, or deal with melodies that they do not show to anyone. Their creativity does not need a viewer or applause, they just need silence. For example, Hassan and Mustafa are 79 years old. Hassan works every day, spends time with sports and television, needs to hear noise in the background. Mustafa works alone for a long time, makes small wooden birds. This kind of creativity gives them meaning, connects them with something bigger. For them, being creative is not just presenting to others, it is an internal process. Being alone nourishes creative thinking, increases inner richness and depth. The sixth trait is strong self-discipline. Older people who like to be alone usually have a strong self-discipline. In conclusion, loving loneliness in old age is not a weakness, but a sign of deep thinking, emotional independence, high sensitivity, meaningful relationships, creativity, and strong self-discipline. These traits are treasures that many people never fully develop because they are lost in the noise of the world. If you recognize yourself in these qualities, remember that your silence and solitude are sources of strength. They are what make you unique, wise, and resilient in the later stages of life. Value them, protect them, and let them guide you toward a peaceful and fulfilling future. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and support us so we can share more inspiring content with you. In conclusion, loving loneliness in old age is not a weakness, but a sign of deep thinking, emotional independence, high sensitivity, meaningful relationships, creativity, and strong self-discipline. These traits are treasures that many people never fully develop because they are lost in the noise of the world. If you recognize yourself in these qualities, remember that your silence and solitude are sources of strength. They are what make you unique, wise, and resilient in the later stages of life. Value them, protect them, and let them guide you toward a peaceful and fulfilling future. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and support us so we can share more inspiring content with you.